Hey guys, I'm Props, and today I'm going to be making Boba Fett's battle damaged helmet out of cardboard. The first thing I did was went through and cut out the dented helmets Boba Fett templates. These are meant for being made out of cardboard. That's why they've got so many different pieces to them for the dome of the helmet. You actually want to cut about 2 inches off of this. I didn't, and I had to go back through and cut this after I had gone through and plastered the whole dome, and that wasn't very fun, so be sure to cut off 2 inches if you make this. I then went through and glued together all of the sides of this to create the dome, and then I glued all of the 3 pieces together just to create the full dome shape. You want to make sure to line all these up right, otherwise you're going to have to go through and trim off a lot, and you really want it to turn out the best that it can. I then went through and glued together 2 halves of the faceplate and then glued that around the dome to create the full helmet. You can cut the visor out right now, but I would wait a little bit. I then went through and cut out all of the cheekbone parts, gluing them in a little recess to create the nice details that it has. And then I went through and glued on some cardboard to create the visible edge that the actual faceplate has. After letting all of the glue dry and making sure it was hard, I went through and applied some lightweight spackle to the whole helmet. I was able to find this for pretty cheap at the local dollar store, and that's why I'm using this as opposed to plaster. You want to do a couple coats of this just to fill in all of the gaps and stuff. If you're going for a very clean Boba Fett helmet, I wasn't going for that one in particular, and since this one is pretty acid washed and battle damaged, you can probably get away with 1 coat if you apply it thick enough to cover up the corrugation lines. I applied this on every single spot on the helmet, and you want to make sure that all of the spots are nice and curved so that you don't have to curve them once the plaster is set. I then went through and glued on a piece of cardboard over the whole helmet to give it the outline that the helmet has, and then I made all of the ear parts, cutting those out of some cardboard. I did freehand these just because I wasn't able to print out the templates for them, but you should probably follow the templates just to get it looking as accurate as possible. To make the side of the ear, which had the rangefinder, I just cut out the basic shapes and then cut out a piece of plastic which I glued together to make the stock of the rangefinder, and then I cut out some cardboard to make the general shape of the rangefinder, which I then dremeled down to make it curved. I glued all these parts on with hot glue and then reinforced them with some super glue since the plaster may stretch a little. I then went through and painted the base of the helmet a lighter green, and then painted all of the cheekbone parts a dark green just to paint it the accurate colors that it is. I then went through and painted on the red. This is a pretty dark red in case you couldn't tell, and it's pretty accurate to what we see. You could have gone a little darker and added on some spots, but I didn't do that. I then went through and added some battle damage with a silver marker that I had, and then went through and used some acrylic paint to paint on more of the larger spots of the acid washed damage and then the battle damage that Jango Fett's helmet had. I then glued in the visor, which I just colored in with some Sharpie to get at the color, and overall I think this turned out pretty good. This is really more of a proof of concept as if I could make a cardboard Boba Fett helmet, and I'm definitely going to be making more of these because I'm really pleased with how this turned out. If you guys don't mind checking out my Etsy shop, I have a lot of the props that I've made over the past year or so on there, and I'm totally up for if you guys want me to make something for you guys. Thanks for watching. If you guys don't mind liking and subscribing, please do. See ya.